What's up, guys? I am officially a couple weeks into my weight loss transformation and feeling really good. As you guys that follow the channel can see, we've been on the road a lot, doing a lot of stuff to promote the TV show in LA and New York and kind of flying all over the place. So it's been difficult to stay on track, but I feel like I've done a pretty good job with the eating mainly. The training, I've had to adapt to different gyms on the road, of course, which is kind of par for the course with that. But I feel like I've done a really good job of staying on track. So I'm happy about that. I'm actually feeling really good, which is very, very positive. So behind me here, I have what I'm very excited about is actually a Rogue Echo bike. So since the gym is no longer at our house, at least temporarily, because we're in the process of building here, but it's a little bit of a drive for me to get to where the gym is located. So I wanted to have a piece of equipment here at the house that I could use basically just for conditioning, a little bit of extra work, you know, really short intensity stuff is what I'm doing right now. So this will be a perfect piece of equipment for me to use here at the house to stay on track and to even improve a little bit more, which I'm excited about. So we definitely have to do a weigh-in today, which I'm sure all of you are excited about. I really don't know exactly where I'm at, so that'll be interesting for me as well. I feel like I've definitely dropped a little bit of weight, which is great, but I'm in suspense as much as you guys are in suspense. So we're gonna get this guy together, get it out of the box, and see if it can hold up to my body weight, which I'm sure it will, because I've heard these things are bulletproof. But anyway, we're gonna get this together and kind of show you guys the building process. So this is the finished product. This took me about 45 minutes to put together. I certainly wasn't rushing, you know, just kind of reading the directions and going through it, but everything was there. It was really simple and easy. They gave all the tools and all the hardware to put it together, and it seems pretty bulletproof, as most of Rogue's stuff is built that way, which is awesome, and it's one of the reasons I love working with him. So let me check this out here. We'll hop on, give it a little test. Yeah, it seems, I mean, that's the first time I hopped on it, but that seems really, really smooth, and definitely not like my body weight is gonna cause any problem. I mean, it didn't seem like it was shifting around. So that's awesome. I'm really excited. And you know, it's kind of cool because in the garage here, it actually gets pretty hot. So having this fan going and almost cooling me off while I'm doing some of my conditioning work is gonna be pretty cool too. So I'm super pumped about this piece from Rogue. And you know, just to let you guys know, if you ever want to buy something from Rogue, there's always a link below the videos. Go there with the link, and if you buy anything, it helps me out a little bit. As always, of course, I appreciate the support. So we'll do a little bit of conditioning on this, but I feel like it's time to do a weigh-in. So let's go see where I'm sitting after a few weeks of getting into this and find out together. Moment of truth, time to weigh in. I actually have not stepped on a scale since I started this process. I find for myself, when I'm going through things like this, if I start stepping on the scale every single day, it gets in my head a little bit, and then I either feel like it's not working or, you know, I'm doing something wrong or whatever. So I plan on not weighing in that frequently. So this is literally the first time I'm finding out along with you guys. So let's see if all this hard work is paying off. All right, So I think the first weigh-in was around 434, if I remember correctly. So I'm down now, what, roughly 13 pounds, 14 pounds, which is awesome. I'm actually pretty excited to see that. I didn't know where I was, but I am feeling better. I'm feeling like all this hard work is paying off. So it's great to see that number on the scale. Normally, you know, for a strong man, if the number drops on the scale, it's actually a little bit of a mental game that you play where you want the number to be higher and higher. So it's different. This is a completely different challenge for me in trying to get the scale numbers lower. But I'm glad that that it's paying off. I mean, this is the direction I'm wanting to go. So still have a little bit to go and some more conditioning work to do, and obviously still training to get ready for my next contest. But the numbers don't lie, and I'm really happy with where that's at right now. When I started out this process, I kind of talked through some of the groceries that I was getting and that type of thing. And one of the biggest change, or maybe the biggest change that I'm making here with my diet is switching up the type of meat that I'm eating. Now, I was pretty much doing 100% ribeye steak, ground ribeye steak, leading up to the Arnold this year and World's Strongest Man. So the fat content was super high, a lot of calories, and one of the easiest ways to manipulate the calories is to lower the fat down. So that's essentially what I chose to do. So I'm switching over to bison, which, as you all know, I've used in the past a lot. I love bison. I feel like it's a really good meat. Just doesn't have the fat content of the ribeye, but that's okay because that's helping me with my goals right now. So that's been one of the biggest changes, but it's very easy to manipulate the calories when you don't necessarily change the quantity, but you change the fat content, because fat obviously has a ton of calories. So if you eat leaner meat, guess what? You have less calories in your diet, and therefore you know, you tend to lose weight easier. So that's been a big change. I feel like it's had a really positive effect for me. So far, I'm feeling okay. I may need to add in a little bit more fat, you know, just based on my performance in the gym. But, you know, for right now, I'm really happy with the way things are going. So I'm going to kind of stick with it for, you know, at least a little bit longer and see how my body responds, and give myself a little bit of time to kind of level out with all the diet changes. While the bison is cooking up there, I want to show you one other thing that I have in my diet. So I've got a few ice cubes in here. This is just baby spinach. So I actually threw this in the freezer, and I've set it out on the counter so it's thawed out a little bit. But having the spinach frozen is a big key to this, so it's already cold. So what I do is I just kind of take a couple handfuls of the spinach and stick it in here, just about like that. Get a little bit more, right like that. And then from here, what I do is I add a few ounces of orange juice to this. So just about like that. So it's, I would say, roughly about 3 ounces of orange juice there. And then adding to this, I actually add a little bit of water to the mix as well, so it blends up a little bit nicer. We add in a little bit of water like that. And the point of this spinach shake, if you will, is potassium. So spinach is packed full of potassium, and orange juice obviously has some potassium in it. Very, very, very important to make sure that I've got enough potassium in my diet. So this is a great way to add it into the mix and to get a essentially spinach potassium shake. So I blend it up just about like that. It actually surprisingly blends up really, really nicely. Just like that. And then this is literally like a dessert. It's ridiculous how good this tastes. As you guys can see, I've got the food scale out. Now, you know, a lot of times I think people out there just think a food scale is a waste of time and that sort of thing. But especially when you're trying to manipulate things in your diet, it's really important to know what kind of portions you're eating, because that can change a lot. So if I eyeball it, for example, and throw, you know, meat in this bowl, I don't know exactly how much is there. And, you know, when I get on the scale and weigh in, that type of thing, I don't know exactly where I'm at with everything. So it's important, you know, not only when you're trying to gain weight, but also when you're kind of trying to drop down, to know what kind of portions you're actually eating. So I always will throw things on a scale, whether I'm, you know, getting ready for a contest or I'm you know, in a situation like right now where I'm trying to get leaner and manipulate things kind of going the other direction. So I'm gonna do 10 ounces of meat here. So we'll get this weighed up here. So 10 ounces of meat, and then to this I'm gonna add rice, of course. Rice is definitely always gonna stay in my diet without a doubt. So what we'll do is we'll add approximately 2 cups of rice to this. Actually kind of has started to weigh my rice as well. That's a little bit tougher, you know, based on how much moisture is there in the rice, but at least for me, I cook the rice the exact same way every single time. So I know that if I weigh out the rice, pretty much I'm getting exactly the same portion every single time. So I know that portion's good. I've got my spinach shake ready to go. And then on top of this, I will just add some chicken stock. So that's what adds the touch to the Monster Mash. So it makes it a lot easier to eat. Really, really delicious. So that is that's my meal for right now. So that's just an example of one of my meals going in to this diet that I've been working with. I'll do these spinach shakes a couple times a day, and again, adding in, you know, sweet potatoes will give me more potassium, that type of stuff. But that's one of the things that if I don't actively go after it, the potassium can drop down really, really quickly. So I need to actively go after it, and that's one of the reasons for those shakes, because they're literally jam-packed full of potassium. So really delicious, really simple, really basic, but sometimes that's what you want with your diet, because it makes it easy to follow. This, to me, tastes delicious, so I don't ever feel like I'm, you know, not able to eat exactly what I want to eat. So I really enjoy this, so I'm gonna get to it and put it down. I'm getting ready now to do a 10-minute bike ride. So the way that I'm setting this up is just with a custom setting on the monitor here. And I'm gonna go 15 seconds on. So basically go harder for 15 seconds and then kind of just a steady state pedaling for 45 seconds. So I'm gonna do that for 10 rounds, which will then be 10 minutes. So yeah, it'll be 10 minutes of work, but 15 on. And I've been playing with these intervals with this bike. And I think that the carryover is the best with this. So kind of a short burst of exertion, and then a slower, basically steady state pedaling for 45 seconds. So gonna get after it. We're gonna get started here. That was good. It was something that, you know, you can kind of push yourself with. The 15 seconds on is not that much time. It seemed, you know, a little bit shorter. I think what I'll probably end up doing is bumping up those intervals where I'm maybe getting closer to kind of a 1-to-1 ratio, where I'm going, say, closer to 30 seconds all out sprint followed by a 30-second break. But, you know, for right now, as you can tell, I'm breathing harder, you know, getting a little sweat going, which is great. And, you know, the plan is right now to just introduce this, keep myself honest and keep working hard with this. And with, you know, being able to customize everything on this bike, it's going to be perfect, because I can even bump it up, you know, to 20 seconds, you know, just do 5 seconds more. And as I become more accustomed to this, it'll get easier and easier to go through it. And then I can push a little bit harder. But, you know, again, it's 10 minutes, not that long, you know, and this is going to have a big effect for me, you know, everything together, you know, the eating, the, you know, the training. I've, you know, shortened up my rest intervals with my training. So I'm definitely keeping my heart rate a little bit more elevated with training, which I think is also having a big effect. So it's a combination of a bunch of different things that I'm trying to do here to have the outcome that I want going into my next contest. But I'm feeling good. I can definitely tell a big change already with my body. And, you know, that's a really positive thing when you start to see that, especially implementing all this new stuff. You don't know how it's going to have an effect on my overall body composition, but also my performance. And right now, all things considered, I'm feeling really good with all the changes that I've implemented. So yeah, this is the second update. You know, sorry it took a little while to get out, but it's neat to see the changes, neat to see the effect on the scale, that number coming down. And I feel like I'm starting to get to where I want to go with all of this. So I'm excited, pumped up, ready to keep working and keep getting closer to my goal. And you know, hopefully all you guys are enjoying the update here, and we will keep them coming. But for now, go out and be great, and we'll check you guys later.